Hi! So today we're going to be talking about Pippi sweater from the creator Kiss Kiss Rhinestones. It's a free pattern that I've seen just making its rounds on Instagram, and I finally got to sit down and actually make it. So for this project, I used Rob's Alaska in these 3 colors, very similar to the original, and I used 4mm needles. And I think it came out really well. It's definitely more of a boxy fit. I will say the most difficult part about this pattern is that knitted in one size, you do have to kind of take into account of that size difference yourself and adjust. So the purpose of this video is just to show you guys kind of what my process was like knitting this sweater, and also while we're going through it, hopefully I can troubleshoot some of the things that I found difficult in case you're interested in making this sweater. And so the part that I kind of had to read a couple times before understanding was just like literally the beginning instructions. But essentially, when we're knitting the back, we're gonna separate the 110 stitches that we just did. And so this back area is gonna be 40 stitches, and then you're gonna have 35 stitches on either side where like the shoulders are. You're gonna take the first 35 stitches, put it on a strand of loose thread or an extra needle. Once you have transferred 35 stitches, you're actually gonna want to purl 40 stitches from where you are, and then train your work before you start the German short rows. Alright, so I'm gonna keep this update short, but basically I made a hole here, but second, I got through the second part of that little color pattern, while I was doing this, I realized I'm not going to be able to make this as long as the original because the creator is literally like almost a foot taller than I am. So what I'm going to do instead of doing the 20 rows of just this white pattern, I reduced that to 16. I also have this oversized sweater that fits me really well. I'm going to take guidance from these measurements here to see where I should stop doing the yoke. So this is day 3. It's a Monday, so I can't just be knitting all the time. Last night I ended up finishing all of the back yoke, and the pattern's starting to look very cute. This morning I was able to finish up the front. We have this huge thing. It's very oversized, as you can tell. This is where we are right now. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the front later today. I think I'm gonna run out of this like beige colored yarn, so I went ahead and ordered some more, but I'm gonna cry if I end up running out again. One thing that I'm not excited about at the end of this process, look at how many loose ends there are. I'm gonna have to seam all of these in later, and that is giving me nightmares already. I've been working on this all day. This is what I like to call the toilet seat cover, because that's exactly what it looks like. Yeah, I think I've been working on this for like 12 hours now. But yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna seam this up so that I can start knitting in the round. I'll show you what it looks like. I hope this isn't too short. And it was such a busy week. I didn't really get to knit too much. That being said, I did get through quite a lot. I have one more of these white patterns to finish. I was really craving some chocolate yesterday, so I bought this box for myself. Oh my gosh. Oh. Alright. That's our body. Alright, let's try this on. I'll show you where we're at with this length now. This rib is very nice and stretchy. I did a 3x1 just like they did in the pattern. Very excited. Okay, so this is a very big sweater, and I think it's gonna stretch out a little bit more once we block it. But here we are. Oh my god, there's so many loose threads. This is crazy. Yeah, it's a very big drop shoulder. Very much furled in right now. I'm really hoping that it does stretch by like maybe 1 inch or so. But honestly, this length does not bother me that much. So it's a pretty wide neck. You can see like my top under here right now. But we're also gonna do like a hemline here. But yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with it so far. I finished the body. No, it's gonna like block out a little bit, so it's gonna be like maybe 1 or 2 inches. She's finally done. Very cropped. I'm hoping that it kind of expands downwards with the block. So fingers crossed. There's also tons of loose threads out still. So that's gonna be a pain. With the block, I'm just gonna add a little bit of detergent. Very little. Okay, that was too much. Very dark and cold here, so it might be a while until this actually dries. So it's officially been a week since I left the sweater to dry, and it's still slightly damp. But you know, I have other things to do than just sit around and wait for this to dry completely, so we're gonna start steaming it in. This is my least favorite thing, so when I cast off, this always happens where one part will be slightly higher than the other, and it just looks so unprofessional. I'm hoping that I'm able to fix this just by kind of seaming it into the other side. So Sally got finished with seaming the whole sweater. It's outside cooling. Look how much scrap yarn we harvested. That's actually crazy. This took over 2 hours last night. But yeah, hopefully the sweater will dry outside and I can have something to show you guys in a couple hours. We are finally finished with our sweater. And you know what? I think it's nice. Definitely more of a boxy fit than I was expecting. And for the boxiness, I probably should have made the length a little longer. There's always room to go back in and kind of add another line of ribbing. But I'm gonna test it out for a little bit first before I do that. So this is it actually styled. Oh my gosh, what is going on out there? Anyway, so this is the sweater actually styled. I think it looks pretty good. These are like mid-rise jeans. And I think it's a pretty good length. What are some things I would do differently if I were making this a second time? The first thing I can think of is just to use a different yarn. I think that would have solved most of my problems. So in the original creator, I used a yarn that I couldn't find in the US. So instead, I used Drops Alaska, I want to say, which I believe to be a similar weight yarn. It is, I think now, a much heavier yarn, and because of that, the sweater itself is very heavy. You can feel the weight of it. Also, it's so tightly knit that you actually need more yarn than you anticipate, so I actually ended up using double the amount of yarn that I initially ordered. I actually am quite pleased with like the weight and how this sweater feels on. So yeah, maybe I want to use a different yarn, but I would definitely anticipate my needs a little better. I think also another thing that made it very difficult in using this yarn was that it made it very difficult to dry. Just because it's so densely packed, the water just was not exiting the sweater at all, and it does not help that it's like literally in the low 50s, high 40s right now. So overall, I think I would recommend this sweater to anyone who is trying to get into knitting. It's definitely more of an advanced pattern. The color work nearly killed me, But yeah, I had a good time. Came out with a nice little sweater. Yeah. So anyway, again, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.